So Jeremy Hunt, the current Chancellor, thinks that £100,000 a year doesn't go that far. Now, why would he say that? I mean, there is some context behind it, but I don't think it particularly justifies it. Jeremy Hunt has said that he wants to lift the £100,000 earnings threshold for claiming free childcare after the election because it is not a huge salary in his constituency. Parents who earn less than £100,000 a year are entitled to 30 hours of free childcare a week for children aged 3 and 4. I spoke to a lady from Godalming about eligibility for the government's childcare offer, which is not available if one parent is earning over 100 grand. That is an issue I would really like to sort out after the next election, as I'm aware that it is not a huge salary in our area if you have a mortgage to pay. Now, a lot of people are outraged. I mean, 100 grand a year, that's huge. But Hunt was talking about his constituency specifically, and of course, he represents a very affluent area. So yes, he was talking about that wage only in London. But even still, I think he's still incredibly out of touch. Earning more than £80,000 a year, I think it's specifically £81,000 a year, puts you in the top 5% of earners in the country. So he's basically admitting that people in this country, the country he is Chancellor of, doesn't earn enough. Now, I suspect he doesn't know, or probably ignores the fact that, yes, earning 80 grand a year puts you in the top 5%. Because if he knew that, then surely he would be like, wow, this country is very poor. Now, I'm not against extending childcare to those on that wage. I'm all for extending benefits. I hate means testing. So that idea doesn't particularly offend me. What makes this terrible is that he wants to help those earning 100 grand whilst happy to cut universal credit. He and his government for the last 14 years have engaged in the most depraved welfare cuts, declaring extremely sick and disabled people fit for work, where some people have died from it, refusing to increase universal credit in line with inflation. You got sanctions, all these horrible things, but then wants to give a handout to single people on 100 grand a year. And this is not a household income, a single person. Whilst this party has done nothing, virtually nothing, to help people on middle to lower incomes. That's a transfer of wealth from the very poorest to the very richest. And it's no accident. I mean, how can you hold two seemingly contradicting beliefs, which are 100 grand isn't that much, therefore we will extend childcare to those who earn this amount, but at the same time, we will cut the very benefits that are a lifeline for those who are working poor or in absolute poverty. And all I can tell you that you must be pretty damn evil, because I don't have another explanation for that. But I want to get back to specifically earning 100 grand a year, living in affluent places, including London. So I came across this tweet which tries to contextualize that wage even further. Unless you're 100% remote or living alone in a small flat, you have to get into London for most six-figure roles. £27,000 income tax, 5k national insurance, 24 to 36k rent mortgage, 3k council tax, 3k bills, 10k average family groceries equals £16,000 remaining. But that's more than I earn up north paying £500 a month for rent and shopping in Lidl. Now, I don't know where he's got those figures, but I'm happy to take them at face value for this thought experiment. So, yes, looking at that tweet, you might be like, oh my God, 100 grand is quite bad in London. You know, look how much you've got to pay. Yeah, London is very expensive. But he literally says you're left with 16 grand. That is over £1,000 a month of expendable income, which is nothing to be scoffed at. What he is describing is a single person who could pay for every amenity. You've got your house or apartment secured, bills, food, taxes, all taken care of, and you're left with over £1 grand a month to do as you please or to save. That sounds like a dream to me. That sounds like a dream to most people in this country. On one single income to live in the most expensive city in the country, have everything taken care of, and still have money to do whatever you want, you know, over £1 grand's worth to save or whatever. That sounds pretty damn good to me. He then ends the tweet, oh, but that's more than I earn up north paying £500 a month in rent and shopping at Lidl. Okay, well, it now sounds like that this guy's out of touch. Most people don't pay £500 a month in rent for their own place. I mean, who is doing that? Now, outside London, £500, that will get you shared accommodation, or even some cases, just a room. Now, the average income in the Northwest, since we're talking about the North, is £28,429 a year. Millions who don't live at home earn a lot less than that. They don't have the luxury for rent, bills, food to be taken care of, and then have anything left over, let alone £1,000 a month. Most people live paycheck to paycheck. The life that this tweeter is describing is a life that most don't live with. It's a life where even if you're in a couple, splitting rents, bills and food, you won't have anything left over. So the idea that earning £100,000 a year on a single income is in any way materially comparable to, well, most people is bonkers, frankly. Now, don't get me wrong. London is extremely expensive. The cost of housing is astronomical, but they're missing the broader point here. Jeremy Hunt is claiming that 100k a year for a single person which is, an unrealistic dream for most of us, isn't that big of a wage. He then seemingly doesn't acknowledge that almost everyone living here doesn't earn anything close to that and engages pretty much in zero introspection in the type of economy he's helped create. Look, I know it's way bigger than Jeremy Hunt himself, but he hasn't done anything to improve the situation. This, to me, is more of an indictment of our economic system, that if you take London out of the equation, we are a very poor country. And I think most people have this idea that if you're in the top 5% or in the top 1%, you're earning millions every year. And I can see how people would think that. But when you realise it's only 80 grand, to me that tells us that this economy is broken and it doesn't work for the majority of people and only work for people like Jeremy Hunt. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and drop a comment. It's good for the algorithm and I'm interested in what you have to say. If you're not already subscribed, please do and hit the notification bell. You can also support this channel by becoming a member for 99p per month. And if you're feeling a little more generous, then you can support us on Patreon for £3 or £5 per month. This channel for a while has been uploading every single day, and it's quite a lot of work that is still voluntary and scheduled around my paid work. But I have so much ambition, expect in the future to see more variety in content, such as interviews and Vox Pops. But I want this to be a fully fledged media organisation where not only is this my full-time job, but to have multiple people working for Turn Left. I like to see a live show in the future, more content that delves into culture, history, and much more. But that can only be done if there's money. So please, if you can, support us in any way that's in your capacity. And thank you to existing members, subscribers, and patrons. See you next time.